Dealerships have been getting a lot of flack lately regarding their insane dealer markups. In fact, there is now a crowdsourced website which outlines all of the dealer markups throughout the entire United States, where you can find the dealership, the location of the dealership, type of car, and how much above MSRP these cars are being sold for, or at least listed for. For example, this 2022 Stingray, which has a $31,370 above MSRP markup, or this Kia Carnival with a $10,000 markup, a Ford Super Duty with a $20,000 markup, a Lexus LX600 with a $65,000 markup, and a Ford F-150 Lightning with a $50,000 markup. And last but certainly not least, a Dodge Challenger with a $106,180 markup. These markups are absolutely getting out of control. And these are just to name a few. There are pages upon pages of dealership markups on this website. And the thing is, these insane dealer markups are leaving a bad taste in consumer mouths. Dealerships are getting called out left and right on social media, and they could have some pretty serious repercussions. Because as it turns out, these dealership markups are having a severe impact on the relationship between the consumer, the dealership, and the manufacturer. In a research study done by GfK Automobility, it showed that over the course of the summer, 80% of new car buyers paid above sticker for that car. Of those car buyers, 31% said that they would tell others to not go to that same dealership for business. And 27% of the buyers said that they will not be returning to that dealership for service work. Dealerships, to an extent, rely on customer loyalty and long-term customers. The idea is that you sell someone a car today, and in 3 to 5 years, they come back to you when they need an upgrade, or come to you for their kids' cars or spouses' cars. Repeat and long-term customers are a big deal for dealerships and car salesmen, and to an extent, dealerships rely on these types of customers, and this trend that we're seeing today could be worrisome. These above MSRP prices are extremely short-sighted, and though they may gross more money for the dealership today, in the process, it's burning an important bridge between the dealership and the customer, and could as a result have a long-term and potentially permanent impact on repeat customers, business, and long-term sales. But these above sticker prices aren't just bad for dealerships. They're also bad for the manufacturer. In fact, manufacturer loyalty across brands has seen a decline over the last year. And though manufacturers are absolutely taking notice of this, they aren't really doing anything to fix it, even though they want you to think that they are. Over the course of 2022, both GM and Ford released letters to their dealership partners, essentially saying that if they mark up hot and up-and-coming cars like the Corvette C8, Ford Bronco, and F-150 Lightning, this would be in violation of their franchise agreement, and this would not only result in vehicle allocations being redistributed to other dealerships, but it would also result in possible violations of franchise agreements and could have more severe punishment, including fines, legal issues, or in some extreme cases, closure of their franchise. And though at the time it really did seem like this was done in an effort for Ford, GM, and other manufacturers to really get a fair price for their customers, it really felt like they cared about customers' perception of the brand and the prices that they paid for the cars. But like everything, actions speak louder than words, and since these letters were sent out earlier this year, there hasn't really been anything that has been done to combat these above MSRP prices that have been continuing throughout all of 2022. I made a video a couple months ago saying that dealerships and manufacturers are essentially playing a giant game of chicken. Manufacturers are saying, don't mark up our cars above MSRP or else, while dealerships are basically saying, yeah, you need us right now. We're going to call your bluff. And unfortunately, dealerships were the winner here because while they are continuing to sell their cars above MSRP, manufacturers have not only done nothing about it, but they have instead recently announced MSRP price increases to these same popular cars. Just this week, Ford announced that they would be raising the prices of a number of their trucks. The F-150 Lightning has been increased by $6,000 to $8,500 depending on the trim level. The Raptor price is increasing by $5,220. The F-150 Limited trim is increasing by $6,285. This averages out to a 17% increase across the board. And it's not just Ford that's doing this. GM has increased the price of their Silverado a number of times this year, with the most recent price hike sending their Silverado ZR2 to a starting price of $70,000. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw more MSRP increases across the board throughout the rest of 2022. Now, I can't make a video talking about manufacturers raising prices without acknowledging the fact that there are, in fact, some valid reasons to raise a car price after the fact. In fact, GM and Ford certainly are not the only manufacturers raising prices this year. For example, Rivian and Tesla are two manufacturers selling 100% online that recently announced that they would be raising prices as well. And there are a handful of different reasons as to why these manufacturers are deciding to do this. For example, updating or adding trim models can be a reason to increase prices. For example, the 2023 Silverado has had a facelift this year, which could in some ways justify the price increase. Of course, the supply chain issues may in some ways justify a price increase as well. And then of course, the biggest reason, and this is one of the bigger scapegoats for these manufacturers, is inflation. And the argument here is that manufacturers have to raise their vehicle prices because inflation has gotten out of control. These are just a few of the different valid reasons that could be cited for why manufacturers are raising their prices, and I'm sure that all of these factors are at play here. And this is why I'm not giving Rivian or Tesla flack for the raising of their prices, because I definitely understand and sympathize with the fact that there is validity behind it. But where the problem lies is with manufacturers like Ford and GM, who are raising their prices while dealerships are simultaneously price gouging their customers with absolutely no repercussions. Customers are paying on average $10,000 more for a car today than they would have paid a few years ago for an equivalent vehicle. Dealerships are marking cars above MSRP by $10K, $20K, in some cases $50,000 or more, purely out of greed. And to have manufacturers not really do what they said they were going to do back in February when they threatened allocations and instead raise their own prices, it just feels not great. There are valid reasons for raising prices, especially in the current state of the economy. But to do it while your dealerships are simultaneously price gouging, when you promised that there would be repercussions and yet there has been none, you can't help but feel that anybody that buys a car from these dealerships and from these manufacturers is really getting taken advantage of. Sure, there are valid reasons to raise prices, but as far as timing goes, it really couldn't be worse. While dealerships are basically giving customers the middle finger, it doesn't help that manufacturers are doing little to nothing in order to remedy the situation, but are instead raising prices in the process. Supply and demand, the chip shortage, the pandemic, subprime loans, these are all valid reasons as to why we're in an automotive bubble. But we cannot ignore the fact that this is also a huge factor. Manufacturer and dealership greed is going to be a huge problem in the automotive industry. And I really hope that in the next 6 to 12 months, prices fall, the bubble bursts, and we send these dealerships and these manufacturers back to reality. Because the days of paying $10,000 to $50,000 above MSRP for a vehicle, those days are numbered. But like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.